Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Leila, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. Welcome to a new weekly reading. We've got the Zen deck today, and we are going to be drawing an hourglass. So let's go ahead and start with you, Aries, and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aries, here is your hourglass. It's looking really focused on work and jobs and money, and it's looking really good in the sense, I have to say. The cards are mostly neutral, but there is a sense of strength from the tree, and the child brings a new beginning. We've got the fox and ring in the middle. This is great for a job. It's great for committing to your work and also committing to your disciplines. I think it's going to pay off to focus and avoid being distracted. Now, the ring obviously can refer to relationships, and if that's the case, then the fox is a bit tricky. In relationships, the fox is not as bright as it is with work. With work, it's clever, it's strategic, it's disciplined. With relationships, it tends to be more about someone self-interested, maybe even selfish, and someone who's not really invested in the relationship. So when it comes to relationship, we could be looking at a more shallow kind of relationship. At the same time, Aries, because of the ring on this side and the tree and mountain being settled, and also the tower having that element of longevity, even though we have the child, the relationship looks to be settled and pretty solid on some level. Maybe it's a colleague, maybe it's someone you have to be, more diplomatic, more careful with. That's fine. Focus on this relationship because the other cards are very bright as well. Now, the lily and tower is lovely for anything long-term. It is great for the sense of stability and long-term vision that we can have that enables us to pursue a path of discipline and security. So really nice cards in this regard. They certainly suggest that you want to stick with your job and that you're in it for the long haul. There is an element of the career and not so much the job, this long-term vision. They're also good cards for health. Even though they're neutral, when the lily is about health, the tower brings an element of protection and a sense of longevity. They're both cards of aging and the long-term maturity, being senior, and things like that. So there is very much that wisdom that comes through. So really good cards, and certainly ones that support the fox and ring, telling you to stick with your job and to stick with what you're doing. I have to say that a promotion or maybe your aspirations can also come into the picture. Now, the fish and child is lovely for a new source of income. It could also be a new position, possibly a new job. Now, I'm seeing more stability and not so much change. So I think this new element in your cards is going to be more about a new level or a new responsibilities, a new chapter of sorts in your work. And I think it could be a new phase even, because we have the lily and tower that are deeper, bigger cards than just the day-to-day, but also supportive for money, new income, or some improvement in this area. The lily with the mountain and child is lovely. The mountain and child is a special combination that can mean a very important chapter that is opening up. And with the lily, that is quite probable because the lily is a card of life path, the big picture. So you could be in for a new chapter in your work life and in your status in your career as well, not just the day-to-day, Aries. Now, the mountain is sometimes a card of abroad, a different location, somewhere farther from where you are, or online. And so maybe there is a new opportunity in such a location or online. And also, Aries, the mountain is potentially a card of obstacles. Now, I'm not really seeing this coming through here, but in case it is, it could take some time and patience, and certainly, being calm about it all, and you'll overcome it into this new beginning. So really nice cards that bring this new chapter and this new level, I really think. Here's the level, the tree and tower. These are very much cards of growth and elevation, both of them. So together they are reinforced. We have the fish earlier. This is very much a card of money. So this is great for improving your finances. Maybe you're making more income, which we suggested with the fish and child. If not strictly about money, there's definitely an improvement in your situation and in your status as a whole. This can be an increase in responsibilities and, again, a promotion. So really nice cards. The lily and fish is very much about your career, making good income. and also the security that comes with that. The mountain and tree are very slow cards, very much on the slower side. Don't take shortcuts. Do what you need to do. Follow the process. Be patient with things as they unfold. And, you know, there's plenty of cards that tell us that it's not so much a change, but it's an improvement and a new beginning within, you know, your sphere. So very much, a nice message of growth and patience. Another way we can read the mountain and tree is if you have roots in another location abroad. You could be looking at establishing yourself somewhere. Maybe this ties into the child. This too is possible. So really nice cards in this sense. Actually, one more thing that I can suggest through the mountain and tree, and also the tower supports with this, Aries, is that these are cards of solitude. They're very good for going within, going on one's own. Now, I see that you're working and, you know, maybe you're focusing on these disciplines, but they do have this quiet inner energy. So it helps, again, to avoid distractions and to go within. And if it is about really taking time off or getting away somewhere, then that's also a good idea. The child and tower is very much a new chapter, a release of the past, and often forgiveness, because the tower is often a card of the past. So when we see the child, it's like you're turning the page and you are moving into a new beginning. But in view of these improvements that we're seeing here, this elevation, this new source of income, possibly a promotion, and an overall improvement of your status, we could be looking at this new level that I mentioned earlier, very well captured by the child and tower. So really nice cards, Aries, very focused on this steadiness and security that you're building for yourself, possibly a promotion, a new source of income, deepening roots somewhere or with certain people. The lily with the fox and tree into the ring and child is wonderful for growing in your field and improving on your disciplines and really pursuing on what you've done. And with the ring and child, we see that this could be a new relationship or a new involvement. So again, we're seeing that you're building on what you've done very clearly in this diagonal. The fish with the fox into the mountain, ring, and tower adds to this. The ring and tower is another, a combination of steadiness, and the mountain can again suggest this place abroad. And with the fish and fox, you could be looking maybe at a customer or some kind of connection that you have with this place. Again, if the mountain is about an obstacle, it can take maybe a more roundabout approach, but we do see that the ring and tower really puts everything on a solid foundation moving forward. So these are some really strong and solid cards for work, security, long-term commitments, and a very good sense of stability in what you're doing. I do think promotions, improvements, stepping up to something is also very well captured in the cards. And I do think the focus is mainly on your work and career. But in case it's about a relationship, Aries, obviously with the ring, it can be that the relationship looks really solid. I'm not saying that there's a separation into a new relationship. Again, I feel it's more building on what's happened, so it can be a new phase in your relationship. The fox asks for diplomacy. Don't jump the gun, don't jump to conclusions, because it looks like you can turn the page and move into a new beginning. So these are really nice cards, very much on the quieter side, but quite powerful on the inside. Let me know what you make of them, Aries. I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Taurus, here is your hourglass. It's quite an interesting spread. It looks like you are working through some kind of arrangement to make it happen, and it looks like it happens. Specifically, it sounds like you are after traveling or going somewhere, and there's several cards that point to this. The mountain and bear together, and the ship. The ship is a card of travel. We have the dog earlier, which points to a friend or someone. And so it sounds like you're trying to work it through with this person in order to make a trip materialize. That's likely. Another possibility is making a project or something that you are after materialize, because the ship, while it's very much a card of travel, is also a card of projects and goals and ambitions. And it's quite positive in this regard. by itself, but we see it with the key, which is very much a card of success. And so this opportunity unlocks, or this trip unlocks. So let's get into these combinations here. The mountain and bear in the center, this is very much a combination that suggests someone who is based abroad, someone who has a base in another location, if not abroad. It can be someone living abroad. And with the dog, it can be a reference to this person. That's possible. In another sense, maybe you're looking to be based abroad, or to move abroad, or to have some kind of foothold over there. Another way to read the cards, if it's not about travel, it's very much about some kind of improvement, a step up. But with the mountain, the bear really calls for having courage to climb up that mountain. And it sounds like you will achieve that. The dog and ship is about a friend or someone traveling, or someone you collaborate with for your projects, a bright combination. The fox and key is also bright. The fox is tricky sometimes, when with people especially, but it's also a clever card. And with the key, it's very much about having a good strategy and a good plan. So focus on planning. Don't jump the gun. Don't make moves too quickly. You can plan this slowly and make it happen. Another thing with the fox and key, great for jobs or projects. So very good combination here. The dog with the moon and key is an offer and support that comes from someone or with someone. Really bright with the moon and key. I think there is like a green light. Maybe you win this customer, or you land a job, or you land a project. In terms of friendships, it is someone supportive. You're on the same page. So really bright cards in any context. The fox with the cross, a little bit challenging here. Some decisions need to be made. Things need to be assessed carefully. Again, I want to remind you of having a good plan and a good strategy. With the cross, you need to assess everything carefully. And also, if this is about making a decision, it's maybe not the easiest of decisions, but the fox certainly asks you to put yourself first. The ship is great for things moving forward. It can be a trip that is meant to be, or this project picks up. And even if it was a little bit of a struggle to move forward, it does pick up. Really nice to see the ship at the end of the line here. The dog and fox can be someone who's a bit, someone you need to be careful with, someone who's not the most transparent of people, a bit self-interested, a bit selfish. It can also refer to a colleague or people you work with, or also people who give you some kind of service, like accountants, lawyers, those folks, they can be represented by the fox. So we could be looking at this person and things work out well with them, or it could be that this person is part of the opportunity that you're pursuing. And it can be this element of travel. So they come, you go, or there is some movement on either side in order to make this goal materialize. The moon and cross can be an important offer. It's going to be pretty significant for you, Taurus, and the key and ship is lovely for making things materialize. So this is definitely the green light. Really nice to see the line at the end of the hourglass towards the right, because it brings all sorts of wonderful opportunities. So really good cards. Now, the dog with the mountain and cross into the bear and key is quite an empowering line. The cross and bear are strong, and the mountain really adds to that. And then we have the key at the end. It can be a breakthrough. It can be a major step up, a major thing materializing for you. It's also supportive for a relationship. This could be someone who's got your back, and even if they're a bit heavy, they're still supportive and they bring answers. So really nice cards here. The fox with the mountain and moon into the bear and ship, another confirmation of this important offer. The bear makes everything big. The cross makes things important. So we're getting a similar indication here. The moon and fox would normally suggest an offer that you turn down. I'm not really seeing this here. Instead, it's more about, how you get around it, or the travel aspect, the distance aspect, and also the decision aspect. Because on the other side of the moon, we have the bear and ship, which is a very important project that you set sail into, or an important trip that materializes. And of course, your project and trip can be connected. So it's not necessarily either one. or the other. So quite an empowering set of cards, Taurus. It can be really exciting where something significant opens up for you. Either it's a trip or a project or both. Really good cards, and it looks like you get the green light this week. If it feels like things are blocked, take it easy, and soon enough you'll be on the other side of it. We're seeing things really being released and moving in a very positive direction here, thanks to the key and ship. So really nice cards, Taurus. Let me know what you make of them. Leave me a comment or two if you're willing to share. Thank you so much for watching, as always. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Gemini, let's get into your reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you. Okay, Gemini, here is your hourglass. It's looking pretty exciting because there's a new chapter opening up for you. We see this very clearly through the book and child, especially on the right-hand side here of the hourglass. We also have the mountain and cross, which points to something significant that's about to open up for you. So the mountain and cross into the book and child, clearly a new beginning is opening up. The child with the dog, it points to a new relationship. It could be a new friend, a new colleague, anyone really in your life. That depends on your specifics. The bird and book is an announcement. I would have preferred the opposite order. It can point to sometimes silence or not opening up just yet, but I don't think this is going to be the right way to interpret the cards because we have the rider as well. And the rider is a card of news, and it sounds like this news is announcing this new chapter. So that's exciting, and hopefully the news comes through for you this week, Gemini. The dog, house, and book. This is a meeting with someone, and with the book, it probably points to someone you do not know yet. That's likely. Or the space, this environment here represented by the house, can be a place you don't know yet. That's one way to look at the cards. Another way we can read the house and book is in terms of learning. So whether it's a classroom, a library, or some kind of environment that is conducive to learning, you could be doing some teaching, some learning, some studying, and so maybe the dog can represent a colleague that you meet in this environment, or someone who is part of this situation. This is obviously a possibility. It doesn't have to apply to you. The bird with the rider and child is very much a new beginning that opens up. The bird and rider are a combination of news. Each of them on their own are about news. So together they clearly are. The child points to this new beginning, and with the rider, it's clear that you're heading in this new beginning. The bird and rider is sometimes a card of combination of travel. Each one of them can point to travel, usually shorter, quicker kind of trips. So maybe you're going places, which would certainly align with the top row. So a good idea to experiment, to try out new things, to explore different people, places, and enjoy the opportunities that comes through. That too is suggested in the cards, Gemini. Here's the dog and bird. This is a conversation with this person. The house and rider can be a visitor. So we're seeing a meeting, and I have to say with the cross, it can be quite important. With the book and child after these, it sounds like this person or this conversation leads to a new opportunity or a new chapter. So this is lovely. Now, I have to say, Gemini, the cards are flexible in terms of what area they are about. We're not seeing specifically work cards. We're not seeing money cards. We are seeing the dog and house. We could be looking at a personal relationship, but it's not necessary. It could also apply in a work or professional context or something else, and not necessarily so close to home. But the idea is the same. There's a new beginning that opens, there's a new chapter that is brought by a meeting or a conversation with someone. It can involve trips and travel, that's possible, but if not, it's still the same idea. And it seems to be pretty significant for you because we have the cross in the card. So quite exciting. The dog with the mountain and rider into the cross and book. This could be a really significant decision for you, Gemini. The cross and book normally represents religion and spirituality. So maybe you are pursuing these areas. That's possible. It's a bit specific for a general reading like our readings, but it could apply to some of you. More broadly speaking, we are looking at a meeting or some communication with this person and decision that needs to be made as a result. The bird with the mountain and house into the cross and child is sort of similar because of the role of the cross. There is a conversation here, probably with the house or the space is a bit farther from where you are, and with the cross and child, it leads to an important new beginning. The cross encourages you to assess things, Gemini, so don't skimp on thinking about things and assessing things. This new chapter or this new opportunity or new relationship is quite significant, so you want to give it the attention it deserves. In all cases, it sounds exciting and you're in for a new beginning. So move forward, be in touch, communicate, think about things, assess the situation, and be present all throughout. Let me know what you make of this, Gemini. I look forward to your thoughts about this, who this person was. I'd be curious to know if you're willing to share. Thank you for tuning in. As always, very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Cancer, let's get into your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you. Okay, Cancer, here is your hourglass, and we have a couple of challenging cards. We have the whip and scythe. Now, we do see them with the child, so it sounds like you are going to break free. And so the whip is not necessarily challenging, but it will ask for a high energy, let's say, approach to the situation so that you can break out into this new beginning that we're seeing with the child. We see this with the whip and child. So it can be a struggle, but on the other side of it, there is this new beginning. Now, the stork and lily is very much a change. And the lily being a card of life path and career, it tends to affect the bigger aspects of your life. And so with the stork, there can be a bigger change or a deeper change. The same comes through with the scythe and lily. There's a deep change. You might need to be a bit more radical at your approach in order to get the results that you're after. The birds and scythe can be breaking news, quite literally, but it can also point to a shocking announcement or a conversation or, something like an announcement that comes up a little bit out of the blue. My feeling is that it comes from you. It can be from someone else. It could be things like shocking news that causes you to leave. And what immediately comes to my mind is something like a layoff, hopefully not, but they happen. So it's possible. So there's some kind of news that is shocking or that comes swiftly and creates this kind of emergency for you, and you have to respond and make a deep change. Or you are announcing this deep change and you're getting out of whatever situation you're in. The stork with the moon and scythe is similar because we have the scythe at the end and the stork at the beginning. So the moon is about, your cycles, life cycles, the things in phases. And it's definitely not a fast or shocking card in any way. But when we see it between the stork and scythe, we see there's an interruption here to the phase. The moon is sometimes taken to represent your job or your career. Some people read it this way. So it can apply to you. And so there can be a change of jobs or a change of career that is ahead. The bird with the ship and lily is very much heading in a different direction. So I would suggest it's a new direction, even though strictly in this line, we're not seeing the new beginning. We do see the child here. And the ship and lily is very much about your life direction, your life path. The bird can mean that you talk about certain things, but it's also about a bit of anxiety here. And certainly with the whip and scythe, things can be maybe shocking, or they cause you to be, feeling a bit urgent. And so it pushes you to move forward, but with that feeling a little bit of anxiety. But certainly the ship and lily is reassuring and tells us that you're pursuing your long-term objectives. The stork and bird is a change as well, but also expressing, vocalizing something which aligns with the scythe. The moon and ship is great for an offer or a new direction, and they're really good cards for doing well, for seeing your projects materialize and seeing the results of your efforts. So even if this is a difficult change, it looks like it's a positive change, and it can open up something that's more aligned with you and the things that you want to do. Like we said, the Scythe and Lily is pretty radical. So now you have an opportunity. So make the changes that you need to make, Cancer. And it sounds like at this point, you can't really delay it. My feeling is that if you try to, you can't, because it's probably going to be forced on you and things are going to happen. So like we said at the beginning, have a high energy approach to the change, be willing to go deep and to move forward in this new direction. The stork with the whip and child into the child and scythe is definitely a change of direction. So this is very much where we see the boat being rocked and changes happening. They can feel a bit urgent and it can be a bit messy, but I'm not saying that there's a way around it. We've got the bird, whip, moon into the child and lilies, and this very much points to a new phase, a new career, a new direction, a new life. It's possible. I mean, this is quite big for a weekly reading, but we could be seeing the things happening this week for it to result into this new life chapter, Cancer. So quite significant. Earlier, we have the bird and whip. This is sometimes a combination of gossip, but I think in the context here, it's not so much that. It's more about this news, this shocking news, or the announcement, or you sharing something that changes things and, leads you to this new beginning. You could also be announcing that you're making the change. I have to say, Cancer, we're not really seeing the context here. It's not clear if it's work, money, relationships. We're not seeing people. So it seems to affect your life as a whole. That's my feeling because of the lily, but it can affect a specific area in your life where you get this news or you announce that you're making a change and that's it. You're drawing a sharp line. Let me know what you make of this, Cancer. I'd be really interested to know, what is this change? Did it happen, shall we say, forcefully, or did you just decide you're not going to wait anymore, or you've lost patience and you want to just move ahead? Let me know in the comments if you're willing to share. So very best of luck with this. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Leo, let's get into your weekly reading. Let's see what your hourglass says about your week. Okay, Leo, here is your hourglass, and it's looking really bright thanks to the beautiful sun in the middle and the beautiful clover on the right-hand side. And these are supported by the anchor, which is a very strong card. Now, something that stands out in your cards is the element of news. We have the letter, we have the bird, and we have the book. So all three cards are cards of information, knowledge, communication, and some exchange in one form or another. And because of these beautiful positive cards here, it's very clear that it is some very good news. Notice the bird and sun. This is a wonderful conversation or a wonderful piece of news, and the letter and clover is very good news again. So the same ideas are repeating themselves. The book and clover as a first pair of diagonals here, or corners, is also very bright. So we're seeing this message recurring. Now, the tower and letter can point to a couple of different possibilities. It can refer to something official, formal, or administrative. It can be something like a contract and an agreement. And I think it really is, because as we'll see in the top row in a second, it's very clear that it is some kind of engagement or some kind of agreement. The tower is also a card of the long term and the past. So it can mean that you had been waiting for this for some time. So the book and letter on either side of the ring point to some very important news. The book and letter normally suggest an important revelation, usually something that comes pretty quickly, and hopefully it comes for you within the week, Leo. And the thing about the ring, with either the letter or the book, it's the same. And so with both, it's emphasized, it's a contract. Contract, an agreement, an engagement, some kind of understanding. And it looks like it's formal, at least to some degree. The tower and anchor and clover is very much a message of hanging in there, Leo, being patient, because it is going to come through. The tower and anchor are strong, solid cards, and they encourage you to hang in there and to wait for it to come through. They're also slower cards, but certainly with the clover, especially on this side of the line, it's a very beautiful and positive outcome. The Book and Tower, this is often a combination of education, higher education, knowledge, expertise. So perhaps this is someone you are consulting with for this purpose, but it is also possibly a combination of not knowing where things have been for a while. And that's because the book can be a card of mystery. Now, another thing is that the Tower can represent the entity or the party with whom you are making this agreement. So it sounds like it's important to get into the details or find things out as soon as you're able to. The Ring and Anchor is very much a combination for secure relationships, a secure connection. And it is further supporting this understanding that we see at the top and this sticking with things that we see in the bottom. I do think that this agreement materializes, and hopefully it does for you, Leo. Like we said, the letter in clover is very good news. So finally the green light or the agreement comes through. So all around, it's a very beautiful reading about an agreement, a news, an understanding that comes through and that answers your hopes. It seems to me that it's official, but it can be something personal. And the thing about the bottom line especially is to be patient with it until it comes through, and also don't give up on it because it is going to materialize, and probably in a way that is very supportive of you. So apart from the fact that this Tower card suggests that it's on the more official side of things, the cards are flexible in terms of what area they figure in. It could be personal, it could be something professional, or it could be another area of your life. These diagonals, they support the same idea. We have the Book, Bird, and Anchor, very much in agreement with the Sun and Letter, very beautiful news, and the Tower, Bird, Ring, Sun and Clover, a very beautiful pair here, thanks to these two lovely cards. So a wonderful set of cards for a relationship, an agreement, a positive conclusion. Hang in there, Leo, it is going to materialize. Let me know what you make of this. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Virgo, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what's ahead for you this week. Okay, Virgo, here is your hourglass. It's looking mostly neutral, but in the sense of work and money, because we have the fish in the middle with supportive cards, I would say it's generally positive. The moon and fish is actually a really good combination for an offer, a work offer, a business offer, some kind of project that opens up is very well highlighted by these cards. They're also good cards in terms of feeling good and secure. And so there is an element of feeling prosperous and abundant. They're really nice energies. Now, I think because of the fish, it's mostly about work and money for you, but of course it can be about other areas depending on your specifics. So in that sense, supposing it's about a relationship, and I say that because we have relationship cards, people cards, it's actually a really good combination for attraction. So there could be a lot of chemistry, and the fish tends to highlight the physical aspect of a relationship. So it could be really good on that level. Now, the Heart in Woman is lovely for a relationship. This is someone who is kind and someone you get along with. The heart is more about feelings, and so it's more emotional, and so it can be a more personal relationship. But even not, it's still a really positive connection here. The Clouds in Lily is a little bit difficult because the clouds brings up complications, confusions, stress, and things like that. And so in terms of the Lily being the card of work and career, and also your life direction as a whole, you could be debating or being confused about a certain path that you need to take. Because of the moon and fish in the center, you could get this offer. And so you could be wondering and thinking about whether this offer is going to be a good one for you. It's also a good idea to evaluate things. So don't necessarily take it at face value, Virgo. Assess it and see how it fits with the rest of your life and your goals. The Heart, Ship, and Lily is really bright for your life path, for your career goals. And the Ship is also great for work and business and trade. It tends to be associated with sales, quite literally, play on words. And so with the Heart, it sounds like you are in a good place pursuing happily your goals and your ambitions. In terms of the moon and fish, this offer that we're seeing here, it sounds like you may well take it, and it seems to be something supportive for you. The Clouds with the Stork and Woman is the complications that we saw earlier, but with a person. The thing about the stork is that it really helps overcome the doubt, the confusion of the clouds. The stork shakes things up. It's like it clears the air, and there is this good connection that we saw with the woman. So if there are things on your mind, Virgo, or you have questions or doubts, it's probably a good idea to vocalize them, because you'll see that you're able to resolve them. The heart and clouds can highlight these issues and these complications. This could be, about feelings. You're wondering how the other person feels about you. The ship and stork is often a combination of moves and big moves. Now, I'm not seeing this happening like this in the context of these cards, but they're certainly supportive of moving forward with your projects. So again, this offer looks good. It looks like you take it up and it helps you move forward. The lily and woman is a neutral combination. It points to a long-term relationship and also a secure relationship. So it sounds like the issues here are resolved, but also if you don't feel like it's super warm and it's super friendly, it's still on a solid foundation. It's also a good message to keep relationships professional and also to focus on the long term with this person. She could be a customer. She could be someone who brings you this opportunity, or someone who is a part of it, in this setup. The heart with the moon and stork, fish, and lily is great for your work, for your career. Here we have the fish and lily together, so really highlighting this element of work and career. And certainly with this earlier cards here, it's very beautiful and it points to positive changes. The clouds and moon into the ship, fish, and woman. Again, the moon is a gentle card. With the clouds, it can bring up, again, these complications, like it's a bit of the dark side of the moon, if you like. But because of the fish and ship on the other side, it's clear that you're able to move past these doubts, and in all cases, you're able to resolve them and move forward in this project or this offer. So really nice cards. So it looks like it's mostly focused on your work and career. We have a few cards that point to this: the fish, the moon, the ship, and the lily, all of these cards. And it bodes well in this area and with the relationships in this environment. But if it's strictly about a relationship or something more personal, Virgo, the cards are still positive. There is a bit of a more neutral energy with the lily and woman, but the doubts or whatever the issues that came up with this person are resolved, and you're able to bring things at least on a neutral footing, if not on a solid and secure relationship. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Virgo. I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Libra, let's get into your hourglass and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Libra, here is your hourglass, and it's looking like an interesting mix of cards. We have the scythe and whip next to the fox, and this is quite a challenging triplet. But we have the sun and clover, which are two very bright cards, and especially on the right-hand side of the hourglass, they are very supportive. So whatever challenges we see here are going to be resolved. Now in the middle, we have the mountain and letter. This points to news, some kind of communication, probably with someone who's abroad or farther away from you, or possibly it's something online. So the issues here and the positive stuff that is that resolves these issues seems to focus on this news or this communication. Now the fox and garden, this can represent a difficult environment because of the kinds of characters that you find in there. And as you know, the fox is not great when it comes to people and relationships, because it tends to represent people who are a bit selfish, self-interested, not really interested in others, not really genuine about this. They can be smart people. The fox is typically smart, but not, on the warmer, more personal front, it's not so genuine. Another way we can look at these cards is as the job. The fox is a card of work and employment, and it's very good at that. And the garden can be the workplace or this environment where you operate. So we could be looking at either one of these situations, the people side or the work side, or actually it can refer to both. One more way we can look at these cards is in terms of a meeting. And with the letter, it looks like things could be heading towards a meeting. So that is possible. The scythe and clover is lovely. It's usually a lucky break. There is an opportunity that comes probably suddenly to meet or do something in this environment. The fox, whip, and clover is challenging because we have the fox and whip together. And this usually points to a trap being played out or falling for a scam or something that you trip over. And it can also represent difficult people. So the fox is normally silent, but with the whip, it's more aggressive. So that is possible that you have some kind of confrontation or an issue that comes up. The thing about the clover is that it's going to help you turn this around. And in fact, the clover is often, with negative cards, it's often a blessing in disguise. So this tells us that if you're vigilant, Libra, you could turn this to your advantage. So be aware of this. The Scythe, Sun, and Garden is quite beautiful. This is definitely a breakthrough. The Sun and Garden can mean that you shine, that you're popular. You could also be really successful in this situation, in this environment, and you could also be feeling happy all around. The thing about the Scythe is that it's like a release, and it enables you to shine your light or to feel relieved and enjoy some really good times in this environment, regardless of what this environment is. Another way we can look at these cards is really by taking into account what's going on in the rest of the hourglass, which we do anyway. But we have this news element here, Libra, so it can be a reference to the sudden opportunity that comes through and this positive communication that comes through. Now, the fox and scythe is a bit like the fox and whip. This is a challenging thing that happens. It could be someone who tries to affect you negatively, hurt you, confront you. But as we see here with the whip and sun, you're able to overcome this and turn it around. And the clover and garden is lovely for protection. So these are some really beautiful cards and really reassuring cards, Libra, that tell us that if there are situations that are working against you, if you trip over something, if there are negative people who are playing against you, you are going to be able to overcome them. Now, in the context of the news, I think that the news here could be putting you in an advantageous situation, which could attract the challenges from others. That's one scenario. Another possibility is that you have the green light to move away or make a change, and this is where there's a confrontation with others. I have to say, Libra, that the cards are flexible in terms of the situation where it figures. The fox and garden can very much be about the job, but it can also tell us about the kinds of people in this environment. So it can be a work-related situation, some other area of your life, or people in a more personal way. But in all cases, there is this positive news that can attract some envy or confrontations or even some kind of animosity from others, Libra. But if you're vigilant, you can turn this around and even have more protection. And like I said, it could be you announcing something that attracts this issue. That is possible. In terms of a job, for example, I really think that a job change is strongly possible, Libra. The scythe and whip can be very final. So it can represent a job change. That's possible. In terms of people, a more specific interpretation, you could be looking at removing some people from your life and just focusing on environments that are supportive. That too is possible. The fox with the mountain and sun into the letter and clover. So this is very lovely because we have both the clover and sun connected here through the letter. And obviously this is wonderful news. And the fox and mountain can suggest a job abroad or someone abroad or in another location or possibly online that brings us lovely news. It can also suggest, because of the fox and mountain, and also because we have the mountain and scythe on the whip and scythe on either side of the mountain, that we are looking at blockages and obstacles. So again, there can be people who are trying to work against you, Libra, but we see that you're able to move past them and overcome them. The scythe, mountain, and whip, like we just saw with the letter and garden. So again, this challenge that you face this confrontation, and also it is breaking through obstacles. These are very strong cards for breaking through obstacles, things that were stuck and things that were not moving. With the letter and garden is that news. I also think it's an invitation. Maybe you're going somewhere. We see this more clearly with the garden in this line. So it can be news that affects you negatively that you're able to turn around. It can be news that shocks others, like we said, and it can also be a representation of you breaking through obstacles. And it's also possible that the news has been delayed or stuck, or, the communication wasn't going through, but we see that it does come through in this case. So let me know what you make of this, Libra. I look forward to your thoughts. What was this news about? What was this challenging situation in your specific context? If you're willing to share, I'd be really interested to read that. Very best of luck with this. Stay on the ball so you can turn things around to your advantage. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Scorpio, let's get into your weekly reading and see what is in store for you. Okay, Scorpio, here is your hourglass. There is the mouse, which is a little bit challenging, and we have the dog and man and house. All three cards, they focus on people. So relationships that are closer to home, like your inner circle, are likely highlighted. So the mouse and house are some challenges together. They point to issues, annoyances. It can also be a stressful situation or a stressful space. There can be some problems like mistrust between people. So there can be like a general negative energy in some environment for you this week. The lily and ship, on the other hand, is really bright. It's really good for work and business. It tells us that you are pursuing your objectives, going after your goals, and it's certainly the advice to do this. So if the mouse and house are keeping you stuck, or you feel like you're dwelling in this more or less negative or stressful environment, the lily and ship, they encourage you to move forward and not stall. The dog and man, they point to a friend or a colleague. The dog is friendship as opposed to love and romance. So this could give you a clue as to what person these cards are referring to. Now, the lily with the fish and man is great for work and business. The lily and fish points to a successful career and a lucrative career. So good money from your work. And with the man, this can be a customer or a colleague or a collaborator. Maybe they're implied in some way or other in this situation. They could also be bringing you the offer. It could be someone you want to reach out to or collaborate with in order to make this happen. The dog with the clover and ship is also very bright. So similar a little bit to the top. We've got the ship, which is a card of movement and travel, and it's great for progress. And with the clover, this is an all-around happy card. So very good steps here that you're able to take this week, Scorpio, able to move forward in some project, in some offer. And notice how these lines, they overcome the challenges that we see in the mouse and house. So these issues, it looks like they're going to be small and you're going to be able to overcome them pretty quickly. The lily and dog is similar a little bit to the lily and man. It points to colleagues or other people in your professional environment. They can also be people who are supportive or potentially people who are older than you, because the lily is a card of seniors usually. The fish and clover is very good with money, very lucky. I have to say though, Scorpio, that sometimes the clover is unexpected. So the way things work out may not be the way you had imagined. Just be flexible and appreciate that things are working out. The man and ship is great for progress with this person. I have to also add that this can mean travel. Maybe this person leaves. And if it was this person who was annoying you or something like that in the house and mouse, then it could be a positive resolution. But there's still really good cards for enabling you and empowering you to move forward with this collaboration or this project or involvement that seems to have a really good financial element as well. The lily with the mouse and clover, this is a lovely sign for overcoming the mouse, which we saw already a few times. And then we've got the house and man. So this is great for connections and reestablishing connections and relationships, regardless of what context. I want to add, though, Scorpio, that it might pay off to try to understand what is it that's behind these issues. You could find that it's been a longer term issue that had been dragging for some time. So you might want to dig a little bit into the root cause of this so that it doesn't happen again. And the dog with the mouse and fish, also somewhat similar. Here we see that there could have been some people who are stressful or difficult. And with the mouse and fish, there could have been some losses, or they could have been draining your money, your resources in some way or other. And then we see the house and ship. So this can be a positive change, maybe a move away from this difficult environment, but also a rectification and changing it for the better. And again, remember that we have the fish and clover, which is great for recovering any of these issues if they were affecting you in this way. So overall, Scorpio, we have some really good messages here. They clearly highlight progress and forward movement, and any issues that you've had in a certain space or with certain people are light and they are going to be overcome. And it is definitely an opportunity to take advantage of something coming your way, and you'll find that you have good support from this person or from others. My feeling is that it's more focused on your work and your money and your career, but if it affects a personal relationship or maybe family matters, again, the same idea applies. There's an opportunity to turn things around, and you'll find that these issues are resolved. So focus on the goal and don't dwell in negativity, Scorpio. Take advantage of the opportunity and move things onto a brighter course. You have everything it takes to do this week. Let me know what you make of these ideas. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Sagittarius, let's deal out your cards and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Sagittarius, here is your hourglass, and there's a pretty clear message coming through here. We have the scythe and the dog, the scythe and fox, and clouds and letter. So when we see all of these cards, they're clearly pointing to a breakup from someone. The dog is often a card of friends and friendships. So it's not looking like it's a personal or love relationship. Instead, it sounds like there's a separation from someone. Now, there's other messages here that can add to the scenario or change it a little bit, and that's the element of jobs. The fish and letter is proposal, usually of work and money and business. So you could be getting a job, and this separation could be a result of that. The ship and clouds is a bit of a bumpy road or a bumpy journey ahead from here, but I'm not seeing that it's meant to deter you from making changes and changing your course. The fish and fox is a very good combination for jobs, and the clouds here, there can be some complications. So you could be assessing a job, or maybe the situation that you are in right now is giving you some headaches. The ship with the book and letter is very much an invitation or an offer or some good news or some news. The ship is usually positive, so it does point to good news. But the thing about the book and letter is that it could come a bit suddenly. And this is actually well supported by the scythe, because the scythe is very much a card of suddenness. It has that sharp energy. So there's an invitation or a proposal or an opportunity that comes your way. Possibly you're unprepared for it, and the scythe, brings this element of urgency. The fish and ship is great for money. This is very much seeing the efforts paying off, the return on your investment, making sales, making deals. All of these can be highlighted by this combination. The fox and book is potentially a warning combination, Sagittarius, because the fox can be a tricky card. It can be someone deceptive. And with the book, there is an element of secrecy. So again, this is going to come out because we have the scythe on the other side here. So we're seeing these messages recur over and over. I do think that you get an offer or an opportunity, and the fox and book can refer to that, but it can also suggest that things are in the works and maybe you are unprepared for it. And one more way we can read the fox and book is that you want to keep it to yourself until the right time. So when the right time comes, we see the clouds and letter, which is about challenging news or complicating news. So news that is complicating the situation. So the way these cards can work is a few different scenarios, and they're all sort of close to each other. You could get an offer, which we see here, and you're keeping it under your hat until the right time to share. And when you do announce that you've got an offer, maybe you're making changes that could cause a bit of issues around you, as we see through the clouds. Another way is that there can be a sudden change that you haven't planned for. It can be related to this offer, but it can be about other changes as well. So this urgency is brought by the scythe. Now, in terms of a relationship, so if this is not about an offer, if this is not about the job in this area, or other areas, that are more practical, more material in nature, the cards can be about a relationship because we have the dog and scythe. It sounds like there were some things that were kept away from you, and also you are maybe changing your focus from this relationship. And at this point, you feel like you want to have a conversation and express the issues that you are experiencing. I do think it can lead to a separation, though, because the scythe is pretty sharp and final in its message, usually. The fish with the dog, book, scythe, and clouds, this is very much expressing the issues and this thing coming out. In terms of the offer, which can be very well highlighted by the fish and dog, it, like we said, it offsets you a little bit and it causes a bit of commotion and a sense of urgency. You're not sure how to respond to it just yet. So take time to think about it. The scythe could rock your boat a little bit, but still the clouds is good at the thought process. So thinking through things. The ship with the dog, fox, scythe, and letter is another indication of the sudden news and a job prospect here, which is great with all three cards. Actually, they can suggest a customer, a job, all sorts of possibilities in terms of your work. But in terms of a relationship, the fox is not great, and it points to someone who's deceptive. So again, we're seeing the same, these two scenarios play out across the different lines. So just to recap quickly, Sagittarius, I'm seeing two main scenarios that are possible, and both of them could happen as well, is that you could get an opportunity, maybe it's a little bit unexpected, and it causes you to have to respond with urgency. That's one. Another one is that you've got a bit of an issue with a person and you're probably going to draw a line about it at this point. Of course, both can happen either in the same situation or in different parts of your life. This too is possible. But definitely time to make a sharp change and to take advantage of an opportunity for this change, whether it's to embrace this opportunity, this job prospect, or to release a person or at least make the point with them. Let me know what you make of these ideas, Sagittarius. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Capricorn, let's get into your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Capricorn, here is your hourglass. There are lots of very beautiful energies here. We have the flowers and star and the tree. These are very beautiful healing cards. So there's a lovely energy of peace and well-being all around. The mountain and garden can be a location or a place abroad. It can point to going somewhere, taking time out, or connecting with people in another location, or possibly online. And it could be quite literally the outdoors, or going for a hike and doing these things. The tree and ring is great for a relationship or a commitment. And the flowers and cross is beautiful for a sense of healing and forgiveness. The flowers is a card of optimism and the tree is a card of well-being. So there's very much an energy of blooming and a sense of strength and optimism. So really nice cards. The ring can refer to a specific relationship with someone, or it can represent your routine or your commitments. But in all cases, with the tree and with the flowers, there's a sense of well-being where you're feeling really settled and comfortable in this relationship or this situation. The tree with the mouse and cross is a bit more challenging because we have the mouse and it shows up with the cross. The mouse is little challenges. They're not dramatic, but they do draw your attention to the small things so that they stay under control. The cross is a bit heavier at times, and so with the mouse and cross together, it can feel like things are weighing on you a little bit. The thing about the tree here is that it can be a reference to something that's taking time, or taking time for things to grow and unfold, and this could be weighing on you a little bit. So it sounds like it's a game of patience for you right now, and it doesn't sound like you can do much about this right now, Capricorn. Usually when we have the cross, things are a little bit out of your hands. But on the flip side, you are enjoying some really good times. So the flowers and star is lovely for all around healing and success. And with the ring, it brings wonderful relationships across the board. And it's wonderful for your commitments, your involvements. These are very, very bright cards. They bring wish fulfillment and healing. So really great for your relationship, really great for your commitments and involvements. The tree and flowers is the blooming tree. So again, an element of success and growth, and also creativity and just feeling good all around really is really suggested by this lovely pair. The mouse and star is also beautiful to see. The star helps you overcome any issues. So just make sure you're hopeful all the time, Capricorn. Don't dwell on anything negative. You have so many positive aspects materializing for you right now, so enjoy them. The cross and ring suggests an important relationship or an important commitment. And there is also a sense that you have to deliver on your commitments. You have to live up to expectations. And also you have to sort of bear certain relationships in your life. But it's still a very beautiful energy, a very beautiful atmosphere. Some things are a bit slow. Some things are a bit weighing on you a little bit. But overall, you're still in a really good space and things are blooming for you. So really enjoy that. The tree with the mountain and star into the garden and cross can be a wonderful space that is important to you, where things are meant to be. So again, really enjoying the situation, Capricorn. And the flowers with the mountain and mouse into the garden and ring is also supportive of connections, despite some issues, despite some challenges. If you're having some issues with certain people, nothing is a deal breaker here. I think it's really about putting up with the way certain persons are, and I think you find that they reciprocate, so they do the same for you. And if this is about your work or your commitments, it's a bit of stress, a bit of extra, but it's easily overcome. And also, I'm pretty sure you're going to be really well appreciated for it, because we have the beautiful star. So overall, Capricorn, it's looking like a peaceful week. If some things are out of your hands, let them be, and try to forget about them and instead enjoy the positive energy that's all around you. And when it comes to your work and your commitments, just do what you need to do, and you'll soon be on the other side of it, enjoying the outcome. So let me know what you make of these cards in your specific situation, Capricorn. I look forward to your thoughts and feedback if you're willing to share. Thank you very much for tuning in. Very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Aquarius, let's get into your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aquarius, here is your hourglass. I fear it's a little bit disappointing this week, mainly because of the scythe and heart in the middle of the line of the hourglass. This combination usually points to a heartbreak or a disappointment. When I look at the cards around it, just as a brief overview, it seems to me that this has to do with a business offer or some kind of work opportunity. So it's probable that it falls through, or it materializes maybe in a way that is not the way you would have liked. The book and letter is some important news, probably comes quickly, and also comes probably with a fair amount of detail. And the moon and fox, here's an interesting pair. The moon and fox often suggest turning down an offer. So with the scythe and heart, it is probably aligned with that. And so it might not be what you want it to be, and you could decide against going with it. So that is possible. The book with the fish and fox is very much a work offer or a business offer. The fish is a card of money. The fox is often a card of jobs, and the book can bring an element of proposal. So this is a neutral combination. It would have been a good opportunity, but we have other cards that we need to take into consideration. And they're suggesting that it's not such a great offer. Another thing to be careful of is the fox. Normally, Aquarius, the fox is a card of deception. It represents people who are self-interested or even outright dishonest. And so this can bring a question mark to the whole offer. We also see it with the letter. So again, it can be a work offer, yes, but it can have some question marks around it. Now, the moon, mouse, and letter very much adds to this and confirms our suspicions. The mouse is a challenging card. It's not very dramatic, but it's still not so great. And with the moon and letter, which are precisely a combination of an offer, there are some doubts and question marks around this offer. The thing about the mouse, the book, and the fox, and also the letter, these are detail-oriented cards, Aquarius. So you want to read the fine print. You want to understand the details, all the ins and outs. And I think once you get to that level, you will find that, well, it's not what you were hoping for. The book and moon is another combination for an offer. The fish and mouse can suggest that the financial element or the benefits or whatever material aspect of this is not as great. And also it can cause you to lose something. So it can cost you, for example, to get involved with this, or it could feel like it stretches you a little bit. And like we saw, the fox and letter, has these hidden elements possibly and a deceptive element in addition to being a work offer. So from different angles and through different combinations, we are seeing that this might not be an ideal offer for you, Aquarius. It sounds like you could turn it down. And it's probably a good idea to do that. Make sure you understand everything about it, get into the details, get into the fine print and things that are implied but not necessarily said, and you'll find that it might not be the best offer or situation for you. The book with the scythe, into the mouse, heart, and fox. This line is bringing together a few of the cards that put into question this offer. So certainly with the scythe, mouse, and heart, this is not so great. The fox and heart, also not so great. I'm not so sure you're going to enjoy it either. So it's really to your advantage, Aquarius, to be honest about this and to say no if it's not working out, because you could end up being stuck with something that you don't enjoy. The moon with the scythe, fish, heart, and letter, this points to the offer in a more neutral sense, and it could have been a good one. But again, when you look at this, when you read the details, it doesn't sound like it's a good idea, not a good option. So overall, this offer or opportunity proves to be a bit disappointing, Aquarius, and you could end up turning it down. And if you're already in something, you might find a way to get out of it. That's possible. Now, the cards are mostly focused on work and money. We have the moon, the fish, the fox. These are really focused on work. In case the cards are about something personal, there can be a fallout with someone. There can be someone who turns out to be disappointing, even potentially hurtful, Aquarius, and this leads you to change your mind and move in a different direction. So it's a bit difficult possibly this week, but it's good that you have clarity, Aquarius, to make an informed decision and also not to get stuck in something or to stay stuck in something longer than you need to. If this is not aligned with you, you don't like the implications of this, then it's a good idea to cut your losses and get out or turn it down from the get-go. Let me know what you make of this, Aquarius. I certainly look forward to your thoughts and feedback. What was this situation or offer that came your way and that you need to maybe part from that is not working for you? I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Thank you for tuning in. Very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Pisces, let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Pisces, here is your hourglass, and it's looking really active and inspiring for your work, your money, your business, the practical side of life. This could be a really empowering week. We have the bear and clover right in the center. The bear makes everything big and important, and it's a card of strength and power. And with the clover, which is one of the luckiest cards of the deck, it could feel like a major improvement is materializing for you. So this could be quite exciting. The ship and stork is often a combination for big moves and big travels. You could be going someplace important, but if not, these are really good cards for improvements. So building on what we saw with the bear and clover, the ship is great for progress on your work. It's great for sales and trade and business, and it tells us that your efforts are picking up, certainly with the stork. The lily and ring is great for your career and your commitments, and it can also point to long-term relationships. So things could pick up in relationships, or they could pick up with your work, and you seem to be really engaged with what you're doing. So you're definitely on the right track. It's heading in the right direction. It's resulting in important things. It's elevating you. These are some really nice cards. The ship with the garden and ring is progress in a certain environment. You could also be making connections, and it's certainly an encouragement for you to be more engaged in your community or in the market that you're part of to make more connections. So focus really on building this network. The lily with the fish and stork is lovely for a career and with a good financial element. And the stork looks like things pick up. So again, these are empowering cards. They tell us that you could be doing pretty well with work and money, and things are picking up in this sense. And the cards are also encouraging you to make changes, improvements, and to be active and proactive to make your sales happen, to improve your work, whatever work looks like for you specifically. The ship and lily is great for your career, so keep doing what you're doing. You are on the right track. The garden with the fish is very much the marketplace that you are a part of. It could also be your workplace, and certainly a source of income or an improvement in your income. And the ring and stork is great for connections and relationships, and also your involvements and your commitments. So again, really picking up the pace here, Pisces, making things happen, getting things done, continuing on this path, and also connecting with these people. So really nice cards across the board. You can feel really engaged this week, feeling really productive, making things happen, making your sales happen, and feeling empowered just across the board. Really nice cards. The ship with the bear and fish and clover and ring are lovely for wealth, for well-being and prosperity. And again, this ring and clover here really highlighting these relationships, these supportive relationships, and also your commitments. The lily with the bear and garden into the clover and stork is, again, being active in this environment, picking up the pace. And I think you'll find that you do well in the market and things are, picking up. So very good cards for being engaged and active and proactive and seeing your efforts pay off in material ways and with relationships and with your sense of empowerment. So really nice cards across the board. My feeling is that this is very much focused on your work and career. We have the fish, the ship, the lily. These can all focus on your work and your business, or, whatever it is you do exactly. But the cards are also great for a relationship where there is strong connections here and good relationships and empowering relationships as well. So this is looking like a really inspiring week, Pisces, where you feel like you're achieving a lot and you're empowered across different areas of your life. Remember to stay engaged and connected with others. They're very much part of your success. And, enjoy this element of growth and get to work on things. It's really active this week, and you'll find that you could get payoffs pretty quickly. So don't wait and be active. Let me know what you make of these cards, Pisces. I hope you resonate with them in such a positive way as I did. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.